Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be our last series of today, as we have here at the top right is our red Protoss playing for Team GP. It is Prince.
And his opponent once again from Good Game Gaming. It is Nice.
Alright, and immediately I am noticing a second probe move out from Prince, so it looks like he will proxy something.
Yeah, the direction makes it look like maybe a proxy Stargate. We'll have to wait and see until after the cyber is completed. So, in your opinion, in this mirror matchup, are proxies common?
Yeah, I mean,
kind of feels like they are.
Yeah. I mean, because really, you know, you can just proxy usually it's a Stargate. Sometimes it may be a Robo, but more often it is a Stargate. And if you can kind of catch your opponent off guard and go in there with the Oracle and zap a bunch of probes, because you know the pulsar beam of the Oracle really have a lot of DPS. And those probes can get go down like really quickly. And in the mirror matchup, if you are ahead in the worker count, you know it's you know it gets like really good news because you know both players has the same macro mechanics. Right. So yeah, it works out really well. I mean, assuming you can catch your opponent off guard.
Oh, Nice, always trying to, you know, put down that pylon, make sure that his opponent can't put down a Nexus. Little does he know that there will be a Stargate and possibly an Oracle headed into his main mineral line pretty soon. Now, he does have a shield battery in place, so that is, like, wow. I should start doing that in my games. Like, that's why I always lose against proxy Stargates. This is why. It's because I don't know where to place my second pylon, and I don't know where to place the shield battery, so now I know.
Yeah.
Learning. Oh, but the Zealot does actually scout, so this is a pretty key scout for Nice. And now it is up to Prince how he transitions out of this.
Alright, as expected, a Twilight Council to get that blink upgrade. For a second there, it looked like Prince was going to try to save that pylon, but it looks like he's just going to give it up and stick with just one Oracle.
Oh, and this is pretty smart, targeting the natural because you know that the Stalkers are over at the main. Oh, very cute force field taking down that Zealot for free. Oh, okay, a pretty decent pullback. It got 3 probes, which is, you know, more than 1, but it's not the worst.
Yeah, I mean, I guess something's better than nothing, you know. Right. And he did force the probes to pull out of the mining, so a little bit of a hindrance to the mining time. Gonna go ahead and try to do it again at the natural. Oh, actually, we'll activate pulsar beam, but there is another shield battery.
Well, the Oracle did already get 2 kills. I assume that's from a couple of probes, maybe in the main earlier or something like that. More than I expected.
Yeah, and at the very least, he does save it, so he can use it later on. And it wasn't too much of an investment. It was just a Stargate and 1 Oracle. He was able to get his Twilight Council relatively at the same time as Classic. Or sorry, not Classic. As Nice, so his blink is not going to be too far behind.
Yeah. Oh, you know what would be hilarious is if Prince did a quick transition into double Stargate Void Ray or something, or double Stargate Phoenix. Like he snuck out a probe to repower that proxy Stargate, and then he just doubled down on the Stargate. That would be pretty interesting, but I don't think that Nice would ever let him get away with that.
Yeah, I mean, both of these players, either whether it's Hallucinated Phoenix, which it looks like Nice will send out another one, or whether it's the Orko, it's kind of hard to make those hard transitions and not get scouted. Especially with the caliber of players, because maybe if this was like a Diamond League Protoss, they wouldn't they wouldn't scout as often. But these are two pro players who really keeps up with their upgrade, or sorry, not upgrades, with their scouting timing.
Yeah. So Nice is leading pretty significantly in the upgrades. His +1 is just about to finish, whereas his opponent is getting +1 now. But actually, Prince is also getting charge, so that could be his way of keeping up.
Yeah, I mean, let's see here. Okay, both players has Blink. Yeah, that charge upgrade is going to be important during the fight because you know, they have primarily Stalkers, and while there is the Blink potential, you know, with that number of Stalkers, if you can warp in enough charge lot, then that can really change the momentum of the fight.
Speaking of fights, here is our first one. We see the Blinks coming into play. We see some force fields as well. The Immortal over in the back, not really doing too much, but I don't think that Prince is going to be able to get a lot of damage done. Now, the good thing for Prince is that his third base is already up and running. He might be behind on the upgrade, on the attack upgrade, but on basically everything else, he's pretty far ahead.
Yeah, he's looking to be in a nice setup, and you know what? I feel like he got a missed opportunity there because he was harassing with the Stalkers, but he could have queued up the Oracle to go for a stasis, stasis ward into the mineral line.
Yeah.
Although, as I say that, there is a
cannon.
Yeah, there's a cannon there. But usually you would want to go ahead and do that because, you know, the Protoss would be preoccupied with the fight and with the micro, and he would not look at his mineral line. Like right now, there's nothing going on, so Nice able to respond quickly because he's able to, you know, focus on the minimap. But during a huge fight, where, you know, the focus is on the fight itself, you can you know, queue up your Orko and you know, disrupt the mining of your opponent. So here we go. Looks like Prince is starting to move out. Nice will have vision of this with the hallucinated Phoenix, and yeah, this is quite scary for Nice because Prince's army supply is 30 ahead.
Interesting thing is those Immortals from Nice are going to be able to do a lot of damage, but they are vulnerable to the Zealots. Stalkers are going to begin their Blink Fests, and the Zealots are going to go down. This is going to be a very interesting fight. Now, very smart move by Prince, something that I wish I could say I did more often, is waiting for the shield battery overcharge to finish and then go back in. And that's just something that I always forget to do. But it looks like Prince is aware of that, and he's going to be able to, you know, stay aware of the army without, you know, just throwing everything down the toilet. So looks like both players are just sort of testing each other. Funnily enough, this is a good timing for Nice because his +2 just finished right as this fight began. Whereas on the other hand, Prince is only just now starting his +2. So like we mentioned before, it's a pretty significant upgrade lead, but that's the only lead, right? Prince has his fourth base complete and running and, you know, mining and all that.
Yeah, that's really
Nice doesn't have a fourth base yet. Yeah,
like that +2 was the main reason why, you know, Nice is still alive, because if he didn't have that +1, the fight would have been much more one-sided, you know, in favor of Prince. So, you know, Nice able to survive, and the thing is, unfortunately, there is disruptors coming out here for Prince, and there's no robotic spade to speak of for Nice himself, so it's going to be quite difficult to face up one-on-one against that army with disruptors. He doesn't even have phoenixes to lift them up. In fact, you know, Princess is the one that is with the Stargate. Oh, actually, you know what? He does have a phoenix coming out, so maybe he does know.
Interesting. So when you lift a disruptor, does it cancel the Nova? I think it does. Right?
Yeah.
I see. So in that case, would it actually be worth it to sacrifice a Phoenix in order to kill the disruptor?
Yeah, it's better to sacrifice a Phoenix compared to losing like 15 supply or something like that to a disruptor hit. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. However,
sure.
you know, Prince has a lot of stalkers, so he's going to be able to snipe off those Phoenixes, you know, relatively quickly. But here we go.
Okay. Oh, first disruptor. Oh, nice pickup, preventing the Nova from going off, as we just discussed. Okay, second one does connect, but not on a lot. The Warp Prism is... Oh, and these disruptors caught a little bit out of position. No. Oh, no, Prince. Not like this. Oh, but, okay. He more than makes up with a very good hit. Oh, my God. Snoopy, I'm just speechless right now. I'm out of breath. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. This has been an emotional roller coaster. So many things are happening.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, you know, orange balls usually do leave, you know, people speechless.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, crazy. Why is Prince getting the thermal lance upgrade? Is he planning to go into Colossi? Oh, I guess he is.
Wow.
I wonder why.
That's quite interesting. I guess,
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. I guess maybe he is going to force Prince, force Nice to have to decide whether to focus fire those Phoenixes on either the Colossus or lift up the Disruptors. And then also,
that
like,
is, yeah.
Yeah, like when you're facing against a Disruptor army, what you tend to go for is a charge lot because it's harder to, you know, clump them up.
Right.
And they get on top of the
and they
Disruptors.
can jump on top of the Disruptors of the Stalkers, yeah.
Yeah, but if you can add in Colossus to help deal with those charge lot, then, you know, that's a pretty decent counter.
That's pretty big brained, yeah. Wow. Because, yeah, I was about to say, like, well, you know, Colossi, they don't do good against Archons, right? Like, what? They can't shoot up. But I guess, hey, you know, if you're Prince, if you're as rich as Prince and you have all that money, then who wouldn't spend it on a big, like, flashy bait for the Disruptors? So speaking of which, the Disruptors are going to start coming out. The Phoenixes are doing their jobs. They are going to lift up the Disruptors on time, but the Stalkers are going to start targeting them down. Archon's in the front, dealing damage to both sides. Disruptors not quite able to connect, but I think the trade still goes in favor of Prince, at least for now.
Yeah, but it's a lot closer. Those Immortals doing really good damage to the army of Prince. And I guess that's one of the reasons why you don't really tend to see Protoss go for Colossus, is because, you know, the Immortals and Archons, they do counter those Colossus. And here we go. A great, decent kind of arc here for Nice. However, those Colossus still alive on the back.
Oh, I think the sheer Stalker count of Prince might have done it. The Colossi, funnily enough, they're actually doing a lot of splash damage on not just the Zealots, but the entire army. And this is, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. What? So what ended up happening was a pretty even trade, but because Prince has 5 bases versus Nice's 4, and he's got, you know, more gas, he's got more of a bank. If this keeps happening, eventually Prince is going to win because he's just able to trade efficiently with more resources. Or evenly, I'm sorry. Not efficiently, but evenly. Yeah.
The resource advantage that Prince is enjoying, that's allowing him to be able to, you know, trade all those armies, but yet still regain the supply lead. Both of these players are at 3/3 upgrades. However, there's a bit of deviation in terms of the upgrades. Looks like Nice is going for +1 armor, while you know, Prince is going for a +1 shield, and that's more. I mean, that's I guess that's important to note. But anyhow, let's hold that thought as it's going to be another battle here out in the middle.
Oh! Okay, not as big as I was hoping for, but it still did clip maybe 3 or 4 of those stalkers. And it will be enough to push back Nice. It looks like Nice did come up with his own Colossus, but it is not going to be nearly as useful as the Colossi from earlier. His Immortals, though, are dealing an excellent amount of damage. They're going to be able to force back the stalkers. This is such an interesting PvP. I mean, we're seeing all sorts of tech come into play. We're seeing all sorts of playstyles really clashing. This is, I mean, because, you know, I've been playing Protoss a bit more recently, but I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, certainly very back and forth. And, oh, those disruptors will get lifted up. One does go off, though, but, oh, that doesn't really get too much done. And Nice, doing a nice job. They're fighting near the shield batteries and the cannons. However, those disruptors are starting to get some okay-ish hits.
Oh no! Oh, it actually missed. That one disruptor missed. But look at this. Prince is just able to keep up his supply. His stalker count has been very consistent. I do have to give him credit for that. Like, his stalker count has not dipped below a critical mass, where he can still one-shot, two-shot these kinds of high-value units. And because of that, Nice, even though he's got a higher tier army, in some ways, you know, Immortals beating the Stalkers, for example, he just hasn't been able to keep up in other cases. Zealots reinforcing, bunch of Novas are going to finally detonate on top of the critical ball of Immortals, and GG is finally going to be called. Prince is going to take game number 1.
Alright, so the last time we had a PvP on this map, we had a bit of a cannon rush scenario, but unfortunately, not going to take place in this game. And no surprise, because I mean, this is the last game potentially. You don't want to, you know, have it all come down to a cannon rush.
Right, right. You want to put yourself in situations where you have more control rather than just risking something like a build order loss.
Right. So, yeah, looks like both of these players are going to open up pretty standard. Now, there aren't... Wait, let me see here. Where's... Okay, so there's no second probe out for either of these players, so it doesn't look like a proxy either. So, we're going to actually have ourselves a pretty normal opening.
Okay, so we see Prince is opting for the first 2 units to be Adepts, whereas his blue opponent is going to go for a Stalker plus a Sentry. So it's kind of like the... I don't know if I'm thinking about this in the right way, so please correct me, Snoopy, but I feel like 2 Adepts is maybe the most aggressive opening, and then 1 Stalker, 1 Sentry is potentially the most defensive opening.
Well, I would say 2 Adept is more harassment oriented, while
I meant harass.
Yeah, and then 2 Stalkers the most aggressive, and then the Stalker and Sentry is the most safest, I would say. Okay. Usually more defensive.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of options for Protoss to go for with their initial 2 gateways. And it's kind of sometimes interesting to see the deviation between the 2 players.
So a total of 4 Adepts gonna make their way across the map, trying to see what kind of damage they can do. Prince also following up with an Oracle opening. Both players gonna go for Stargate, so... Huh. Are we gonna get... Nah. Well, maybe. Okay, I have to ask. Do you think we're gonna get Phoenix versus Phoenix Wars? I would love to see that again.
That's definitely possible, but it looks like Prince actually electing to go with Oracle compared to Nice, who's going to open up with Phoenix, so... So on paper, I would favor, nicest opening. Because, you know, Phoenixes can attack Oracles while Oracles can't attack Phoenixes. Right. However, if you can kind of catch your opponent off guard, you can kind of take out a bunch of probes while they're while the Phoenixes are in the middle of nowhere. But being that Nice does scout the Oracle, it looks like he should be able to. Oh, actually, you know, he moved one Phoenix across the map, but I feel like he should be relatively safe.
Oh, the Adepts actually find an opening. They're going to come into the main, taking down that first sentry. But it doesn't look like they're going to be able to target any probes. Maybe one? Maybe two? Maybe a couple, yeah. But they will get cleaned up by the Stalkers. But what timing? Right when the shield battery was cancelled, the Shades found their way into the main base. That was fast.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky there for Nice. However, he does still have the air advantage. So, I mean, these Sphinxes, if they could kind of pick off some probes and then you know try to even up the probe count, then you know it should be all fine. But yeah, right now he only has 2 Phoenixes out on the field, so not enough, not nearly enough to do worker harassment yet. Right.
Well, what would you say is a good count? Maybe 5 or more?
Yeah, around there, 5 or more. 4 is pretty okay as well, but seeing that his Phoenix count is late and this Stalker is out already, I think be a bit more safer to go in with a 5 or more.
Yeah. Okay, so Nice does have the quicker third base, but it's going to be in the back pocket. On the other hand, Prince going to take a bit more of a risk, taking that forward third base, or, well, I mean, forward compared to the back pocket base, but, yeah. So he's going to poke forward with the Stalkers. You know, test the waters. Oh, I love that. That's very cute. A hallucinated immortal, because, you know, why not?
Yeah, Prince not going to be able to tell the difference because he doesn't have any detection, but...
Right.
Either way, he's still got to be careful because when you're facing against an opponent that wants Phoenixes, you don't want to be stuck in a situation where you're not able to win the fight convincingly, and what happens is that the player with the Phoenixes will lift up the straggling Stalkers in the back, and you know you're gonna end up losing a couple of Stalkers, like 1 or 2 Stalkers trying to retreat. So
right. Oh, okay. So Prince is gonna position for the high ground potentially. He's gonna work on that pylon.
Alright, a little bit of a dance here. Both
yeah.
players are trying to figure out where each other's army is.
Ouch. Yeah, and it looks like it's going to cost Nice his Phoenixes. Prince definitely kind of happy about that, probably. Oh, has he found an opening? This is really good Stalker micro. I have to give props to Prince. Like, this is not easy, you know, constantly being active with your Stalkers, constantly poking in and out and trying to find the openings that you want, and using your blink very judiciously. Because obviously, if you use it too early, then you just wasted a teleport and your opponent can jump on top of you. But he knows at this point that his opponent does not have blink, otherwise he would have used it already. So he's given that sort of mobility, that sort of freedom to move around the way that he wants.
Yeah, he's kind of containing Nice in a way with this Stalker harass, keeping him on just 3 bases, and that's going to allow Prince to just max expand. You can see him just already throwing down his 4th base here, and he's going to play kind of the hero gateway style that we have talked about before.
Man, this is a lot of damage over on the high ground. However, those Immortals are starting to really chew through these Stalkers. Oh, looks like it's gonna be enough to prompt a blink forward. Nice, you know, picking off a few additional stalkers. Overall, how have they been trading? It looks like the trades have been pretty even. However, Nice is the one with the higher tier army, arguably. He's the one with the immortals. He's getting +2, he's getting charged. Well, actually, as I say that, it seems like Prince already has charge. So we're kind of going to see a little bit of a repeat of last game, minus the disruptors at this point. You know, who knows, we might see disruptors a few more minutes from now, maybe 3 minutes from now. But for now, it just looks like the name of the game is going to be Charge Lots and Archons.
Yeah, it would seem so. The Templar Archive has finished, more Templars being warped in. And really, Nice can't really do too much about it because he doesn't have charge himself, while Prince does, which is going to deal well with all the stalkers that he has, as well as the immortals that Nice has. And, you know, the Archons as well for Prince, going to be able to do the splash damage. He's going to have to retreat right now and just play the long game.
Alright, so we've got Nice on the economy of basically 2.5 bases, getting up his 4th. And then, of course, Prince, on the other hand, getting his 4th base up off of 3 in total. He's delaying taking his gases. I like that move a lot. Sometimes I find that I have way too many Archons. And I know, that sounds weird. Like, there shouldn't be any such thing as too many Archons against the Protoss. But, I mean, I underestimate Zealots so much, and I overestimate Archons so much, you know. So, I like Prince's composition a lot. I also like Nice's a lot, especially when it's backed up by a shield battery overcharge. We see some pretty aggressive blinks, some pretty flashy blinks going off to the side. These Zealots are going to start chewing through a lot of these Archons, though. It looks like Prince is going to take the supply lead. And this is the interesting part about PvP. All of the units are so chonky and so beefy. It takes so long for them to die.
Yeah.
So it's actually, it looks frantic, but in my opinion, not nearly as frantic as like Ling Bane versus Ling Bane.
Well, looks like Prince has broken through, and this base here will get taken out. These stalkers from Nice gonna go ahead and actually get recalled here. But yeah, I think with Prince on 4 bases.
Oh yeah, the writing's on the wall. This could be game very, very soon. Nice, just processing the loss. He had a good run. It's not like he had a bad run, you know. These are literally world-class opponents.
Right, and yeah, Prince will be the final player to advance into Code S. So congrats to him. And that, my friend, concludes the GSL Season 3 qualifiers here.